Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today's video I'll be reviewing this. This is Transformers Earthrise War for Cybertron Autobot Alliance 2-pack. Now, this 2-pack is an Amazon exclusive and includes two deluxe figures, Ironhide and Prowl. And very cool box art here of the two. And here's the back of the box. You can see 15 steps for Prowl, 22 steps for Ironhide. Now, this is the second exclusive of the year for Amazon for Earthrise. Last year they had two exclusives as well, that if you put the two boxes together, it formed one larger piece of art. Now, the first exclusive Amazon got this year was the Seeker Elite 2-pack of Ramjet and Dirge. And unfortunately, the way they made it this time, the box art doesn't come together that well. As you can see, it's not as good as the last year's exclusives, where they really just matched up together on purpose, which is a little unfortunate because this looks like a really nice piece of art. Hey, let's get this guy out and let's get these guys out of the package. Here's Prowl and Ironhide out of the box. Comes with the instruction sheet here, and it's instructions for both of them. The decoder for the map, and the map comes pre-cut out. It's a much thicker cardstock than the normal map. And the location we have here is Nebulon Station. We have a gun for Prowl, another gun for Ironhide, Ironhide shield, which in his vehicle mode becomes the roof, and you can press this peg to show the cannons here. And the two figures themselves, Prowl and Ironhide. Let's take a closer look at them here. Now, these look like very good representations of their Generation 1 design. Very cool looking. But let's take a look at Prowl first, and we'll put Ironhide on the side. Now, this will be the third version of this mold that I've already reviewed. I've reviewed Blue Streak and Smokescreen, and I'll put links to those reviews in the description below. But basically, he suffers the same hollowness in the legs as those two did. And of course, it'd be nice if this was painted. But still, yet a very good mold. I guess for me, the biggest negative is I would prefer it to come with the shoulder cannons. I know in the cartoon he didn't really show the shoulder cannons that much, or if at all, so I guess that's why they did not include it with him. But still, a very nice update, the most G1-like design of Prowl that we have gotten from a Generations line. Let's put Prowl aside and take a closer look at Ironhide. Now, with the Ironhide, it is a heavy retool of the Siege Ironhide mold. As you can see here, it uses the same lower arms. In fact, if you had filler kits that worked with Siege Ironhide, it should work with Earthrise Ironhide. You can see over here the hollowness in the arms, the back of the legs here in the back, and over here as well. But even with its negatives, it's still a very nice looking Ironhide in robot mode. It would have been nice if this was molded in red plastic, because I would like to put an Autobot symbol on here. The feet is exactly the same as what is used for Siege Ironhide, which in vehicle mode we'll find being a very bad design choice, unfortunately, but it is what it is. There are multiple tones of red, which is unfortunate. Like, you have this darker maroon red and this lighter red here. It would have been nice if it was molded in a more uniform red plastic. Get his gun over here, put it in his hand. Just like Prowl, this is probably the best G1 looking representation of Ironhide that we have in the Generations line. Moving on to articulation of the figure, both heads are on a ball joint and can rotate 360. Both arms can rotate 360. Both can raise at the shoulder this much. Both have bicep rotation. Both can bend at the elbow this much. Both can rotate the wrist 360. Both can rotate at the waist 360. Both can do the splits. Both can kick this far up. Both can kick this far back. They can bend at the knee this much. Both has thigh rotation. And both has ankle tilt. Here is Earthrise Prowl and Ironhide next to Netflix series Wave 2 Impactor, Nemesis Prime, and Wheeljack. And here is Earthrise Prowl and Ironhide next to their Siege counterparts. Okay, let's get these guys transformed into vehicle mode. Here is Prowl and Ironhide in vehicle mode. Let's take a closer look at Prowl first. First thing I'm probably going to do is paint the rims silver because that white just sticks out too much. Other than that, it's a very nice car mode. A little gap here, but I think that's true for all the figures using this mold. It's a very nice modern update to Prowl's vehicle mode without being too modern. It kind of still has that look of that old Datsun, or I think, yeah, Datsun Fair Lady. Let's take a closer look at Ironhide. Now, Ironhide is definitely the weaker of the two vehicle modes here. Of course, it's because it uses the Siege Ironhide base. But there are things they could have changed to make it a lot better, and I did make a video on some 3D printed upgrades I did. I'll post a link to that in the description below and in the card above. And yeah, first the wheels. The wheels are too Cybertronian, and it would have been nice if they gave Ironhide more Earth-like wheels. But the biggest issue is the feet. Now the feet would have been nice if they designed new feet, and it is possible because there are some really awesome 3D printed designs that give Ironhide new feet that makes his van mode look a lot better. And I'll put links to that in the description below as well. But other than that, it passes. You know, honestly, it's still the best Ironhide we got in the Generations line. The other one that we got was from Combiner Wars, and that was just Ironhide as a truck. And then we got the other Ironhide that it was like an SUV that had this really over complex transformation. So for me, this is still the best, even though it has a lot of faults. Again, the color differences are apparent. So I may go back and just mask this whole thing and paint it a uniform red. But yeah, a little disappointing, but a lot of potential. Could have gone just a little bit more with this mold and it would have been perfect. And for some size comparisons, here they are next to their Siege counterparts in vehicle mode. Okay, let's get these guys into robot mode for my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Earthrise Prowl and Ironhide. Overall, I'm okay with the set. I don't regret the purchase, but it does have a lot more negatives than normal things that I buy. Now, most of the negatives fall on Ironhide. With Prowl, I think the biggest negative for me is not including the shoulder cannons. Overall, I like the mold. I liked it with smoke screen and blue streaks, so Prowl is probably the best figure in the set. Now Ironhide is, I don't think he's a bad figure. If it's just they didn't take him far enough. If they did only two things with Ironhide, I think he would have been a really great figure. One, and the main thing, is the feet. If they just changed the feet a little bit to give him a more Earth van look, I'm pretty sure everyone's gripe with Ironhide is the feet. The second thing they could have done is change the wheels to give it a more Earth-like wheel, and if they only did those two things, I'd be pretty satisfied with Ironhide. But unfortunately they didn't. But fortunately there are folks out there that created 3D printed upgrades, and I'll put again the link to that video where I show the upgrades I 3D printed for my Ironhide to make him a little bit more better. I almost forgot the other disappointment was the box. Being that we had this awesome box art that combined with last year's exclusives. I was kind of expecting the same with this year's, and it's kind of odd that this year's exclusives did not combine nicely like last year's did. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Follow us on social media and check out our Discord. Links in the description below.